Good evening, everyone, and at this point, I would like to open the public hearing for the local law number 1 for the year 2025, which is an amending chapter 247 of the Code of the Town of Tustin to provide a partial tax exemption for volunteer firefighters and ambulance workers. Anybody that wishes to comment may do so now. Just let the clerk know your name. Otherwise, the floor will be open. Running up and down. People are looking at us.
I think that, and then until I see the.
It is compelling viewing.
Lips are only being too rich. Yeah, you know, it was stinky after the water. Unless you're, do you another one? Within the fire. Did I? You need like, Martin, you need like a civil war.
Yeah, being very,
I'll
get a job over at the port. Maybe they'll give me a job over at the port.
Yeah, selling chicory coffee. You need that sort of Ken Burns music.
Right.
When did coffee become a staple in America?
the board will open the public hearing. Anyone that would come in wants to say anything, just come to the podium and say your name.
We didn't take the frame rate and put it, you know, cup holder.
What they're saying, maybe next month, we won't be doing a very good day, right?
No, I just started it tonight. I'm gonna close the public hearing. If nobody's got any further information or comment regarding the public Hearing on law number 1 of 2025, I will move to close the hearing. Anybody online want to say anything? If not, I will call the regular meeting for the town of Tustin for September 9th, 2025 to order. Start with the pledge of flag.
Like a baseball manager.
Yes. The payment of bills, the general account expended $27,217.28. The highway $16,629.38, the water $9,053.65, sewer $12,302.25, the lighting district $569.35, for a total of $65,771.91. Cass and Kevin did the bills. Any questions? No.
You need a motion?
I would take a motion to approve the bills as presented.
So moved.
In a second,
I'll second.
further discussion. All in favor? Aye, opposed. Division reports, again, those reports that are not done live here will be online for those that wish. Narrowsburg Water and Sewer District, Committee.
Okay, the big news is that we are going to, we have recommended that the water committee recommended that this board appoint Craig as,
Craig Snedeker.
Craig Snedeker. That's the official title. I wrote it down. The position of water and wastewater superintendent effective January 2025. And they've been monitoring well 3 continues to slow down, but it's gone up and down over the years. Those are the big headlines.
Any? Well, you're on the committee, so not any questions. Now it's into the meeting. Parks and public spaces.
We had a very good meeting yesterday. For those of you who don't normally attend, they are the first Monday at 5 p.m. of each month. We're always lucky to have at least a few people from the community, and there's always good discussion about where things stand. The headlines for that are we have started talking about our budget goals for the parks and public space areas in 2026. It's all embedded in the notes in the agenda. It's an evolving list, so it's by no means complete. Some of the things that we're looking at are trying to get out and do a thorough inspection of knotweed in the public areas, try to get a better handle on that. And we're also going to be setting some criteria for people who might, not criteria, or just guidelines for people who are interested in donating to the park for some of the things, for public spaces, things that we might need. And then the other big headline is we are going to be planting 3,000 daffodil bulbs on Kirk's Road on the walking trail. And we would love to get 3,000 volunteers and have everyone plant one bulb. But we are going to be doing that October 4th and 5th and the 11th from 9:30 to noon. Depending on how many volunteers we get, we may also schedule the 18th, but that will be announced on all forums in plenty of time. Those of you who are interested in attending, please bring a shovel, some gloves, and a good attitude. So those are the headlines. Thank you.
Where are we gonna plant them?
On the Kirk's Road.
Kirk's Road,
Yeah.
okay.
Any questions for Greg from the board? Kathleen, do you want to do a UDC report? You know, after the time, here.
Okay. So last UDC meeting, on the fourth, we had a presentation from EPA. From the on-scene coordinators, Miles Bartos is the Pennsylvania point person, and Carl Pellegrino is the New York EPA point person for region 2 and 3, or 3 and 2 respectively, presented on the agency's emergency response efforts in the Delaware River watershed. That's highlighted under the Superfund program that they are part of. Their presence in the region is really driven by the rails, since we have those here, including any train-related environmental risks, hazardous material releases, or anything like that. Again, it's part of the Superfund program that they do this, and it's all about managing on-ground responses to whether it be oil spills, chemical or radiological incidents, and other threats to public health and ecosystems. Work, we all know, really involves the coordination with the local municipalities and all the first responders in the region. The other, and sort of add to that, the UDC is going to sponsor a citizen emergency preparedness seminar in February 2026. The date hasn't been determined yet, but it's about promoting public safety and preparedness across the region. Once that date is determined, it'll be widely broadcast. It's going to feature complimentary emergency go bag for registered participants, and registration is going to be required. But again, there'll be advance notice on whether they're going to be required. The UDC has revised its fiscal 2026 budget. And one of the things that it's changing is the traditional technical assistance grant, the TAG items that we've heard, that rather than going from 15,000, it's going to go down to 9,000. So that's something to take into consideration. And I see that's on your right. The UDC, just as a reminder, is going to be hosting that the unveiling of the honorary plaque for Councilman McHugh on the deck on Thursday, September 26th at 1 p.m. The Big Eddie. Everyone's welcome. And then a little light luncheon and festivities to follow. Again, Congressman McHugh is responsible for really initiating the river management plan program and the projections that ultimately came. He ultimately was no longer in office once the UDC was formed, but still he was the person who started it. So he's being honored. And that was it.
Thank you. Any questions, please, Kathleen?
There is the banquet this weekend.
Right, and I was not that in there, but it's already the 14th, and there, if you didn't sign up now, it's too late. So I went delete because I don't want to get everyone's hopes up. Yeah, either know about it or you don't. But yeah, the UDC is having its banquet the 14th over in Beach Lake to honor a number of different recipients benefited the watershed.
If you've never been to the banquet, it's really nice. Shout out to the community.
It is. It's too late now, but yeah.
Something to look forward to in 2026.
Deadline. Yeah, they've already got all the difference, but 86 or so. All right, thank you.
Thank you. I will let Jane catch up to her Conservation Council and her grants report. She is currently over at the UDC lobbying on our behalf. Moving into old business, local law number 1, which is our amending to chapter 247 of the Code of the Town of Tustin to provide a partial tax exemption for volunteer firefighters and ambulance workers. This has been laid before the board before. I would accept a motion to accept local law number 1 and the amendment of chapter 247.
So moved.
I have a motion, a second.
I'll second.
Further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Is there any other new business or old business from the board that I did not have on there or I have missed? If not, we will move into the new business. 5.1 Fall Cleanup Day, Saturday, October the 4th. Somebody didn't like that.
And it's Daffodil Planning, if you're paying attention.
I have a wedding.
What are the dates do we have?
That was the only date that we had a highway. For the following weekend is Columbus Day weekend. We didn't want to do it too soon. Because it was already.
They overlapped last year, didn't they?
I think they did.
Yeah.
They did 1 year.
Yeah.
Is the 18th.
That is the last possible day to do it. But the highway has to clear that first with.
Getting the dumpsters.
But I mean, it wasn't, it overlapped last year, wasn't
Two.
Well, they can. Dump off their garbage on their way to plant the daffodils and then stop at logging days and have their breakfast. Nobody will say that the town of Tustin does not provide a full day of activities. Okay, so we're leaving it the 4th? Okay. A motion to set the fall cleanup day as Saturday, October 4th. I will make the motion. A second.
I'll second.
Further discussion? All in favor? Aye, opposed. We've got a JCAP grant award for 2024 that we need to accept. That's the judicial grant to assist the court in getting either filing cabinets, desks. That has been put in, and they're also looking for authorization for the 2025-26 grant to apply for that. I would make a motion to accept the JCAP grant for 2024 and authorize the court clerk to apply for the 2025 and 2026 grant.
I'll second.
Further discussion? All in favor? Aye, opposed. 5.4 is the authorization for the Tustin Youth Club to apply 2025-2026 funding through the County Youth Bureau. Do they know how much it's gonna be this year?
We don't know until we get it.
Okay. A motion to authorize the Tustin Youth to apply for the 2025 and 26 funding through the Sullivan County Youth Bureau.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
5.5 is to reappoint our sole assessor. You don't get to say anything. Not you, Mark. Her. Term ending. That's a 4-year term, 6-year term, so we are in 20,
Election,
Fine, so
in October, I figured, I don't think it's the first, I think it's an odd date, but it's
so
just a year.
the year.
Every appointed assessor in the state has the same exact term.
Make a motion to reappoint our sole assessor, Margaret Harrison, to the 6-year term.
I will make that motion.
I'll second.
Further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Can't go anywhere now. 5.6 is there is a alternate position on the zoning board of appeals that is open. A motion to authorize the town clerk to advertise for that position. The return date of November meeting.
So moved.
Second, all in favor? Aye, opposed. 5.7. So we have the recommendation and it's coming from the Water and Sewer Committee regarding the water and wastewater superintendent. That one. Which is Craig Snedeker. For those that don't know Craig, you probably live outside of the district. But the committee has worked hard with Craig and the rest of the department to get our own superintendent without one that we would had on retainer, so to speak, so that they had their license. So he now has his license. We've got 2 people that are licensed within the district out of 3. The state law mandates that we have a minimum of 2 people licensed in both water and wastewater. Is there a salary that is attached to this? I believe the number discussed was $75,000
Yeah.
for the position. I would make a motion to appoint Craig Snedeker as the Water and Wastewater Superintendent for the Narrowsburg Water and Sewer District at a salary of $75,000, and the appointment to be retroactive to the 1st of January of 2025.
I'll second that.
Discussion on that, the reason for the.
Yeah, you wanna explain
Yeah.
the retroactive?
Retroactive because he's been working in that capacity with the person that we had as an interim superintendent. Also, one of the things that we were worried about is once he takes the position of water wastewater superintendent, he is no longer protected by the union. Any period of time that he is on probation, he is also not protected by the civil service. So it was the board's feeling to allow him to work with the interim superintendent that we had. And then upon appointment, he is covered by civil service. And that's just a protection for him that we feel is deserving. It doesn't allow a board to suddenly cut the feet out from underneath him if he does something wrong or in such a manner that it requires disciplinary action, then he has got the protection of the civil service.
I just want to say that I think he's done a terrific job in the time that I've been on the Water District Committee, Water and Sewer Committee. He's really stepped up. He seems to welcome every challenge that's been presented to him.
Many of them have their.
There will be more to come. So I heartily support his appointment.
In terms of salary, we are still on the low end of the range within Sullivan County, which was discussed. And we will be more in line with the rest of Sullivan County as of next year's wages. And I echo everything that Cass had to say, and that it's also very exciting to see someone who grew up in this town take on that responsibility and provide an opportunity for someone actually who grew up.
Yeah, and we're lucky to have a resident, because water problems can happen at 5 a.m. I believe he reported on Christmas, or maybe the 26th or whatever, to an emergency in the flats last year. So he's right there. And he's a young neighbor, a young man, a young father. It's really great. I mean, it's, everything about it is, couldn't help him more, better.
He is so good at his job that the water on Christmas Day was turned to wine.
I have a motion, I have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed. 5.8 is to appoint to the lead operator position, Brad Skuse. He will take what Craig's position was, which was lead operator. And that would come with a position of probation, since he is within the union and he will stay within the union. Recommendation on probation. 3 months.
Is that our call or the union's call?
I think that's our call for appointing them if it's not in the contract. I don't believe that it is. And if it's not, then the union will override it.
I think 3 months sounds good.
Because again, he's been on the job.
Yeah, and he's also got his license, and he is expressed to myself and to Craig that he would like to take that position. And that would be effective the 1st of September of this year. In motion, I will make the motion, a second.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor? Aye, opposed. One thing that is not on here, I did receive from the court. One of their court officers had to resign due to taking a higher position. But we do have a new person that has come in, another court officer from the state of New York. Neji Hay is the name, and this is from the justices from our justice court that they would like to have her appointed to fill the vacant position of court officer for the town of Tustin. Or Naji, I'm sorry, it's Naji Hay, spelled Najee. I'm just going with the recommendation of the court. They're kind of their own entity.
Right.
No reason to second guess what they want. They know what they need.
So you need a motion?
I do.
Yes.
I got a motion and a second.
I'll second.
Further discussion?
Is that to, accept the resignation?
Not
and
yet.
for minor?
That'll be the next one. Thank you, though. I would have done that. We can put in that one, yes. We'll put it in the same one. We will appoint on the motion in the second, and we will also on that accept the resignation of James Avery. All in favor?
I,
Aye, opposed. Other new business,
Can we go back to the old?
maybe. How did you do over there?
Well, if you give me the floor and that's, I'll tell you.
So she didn't do good, I'd say no. You
Seems like it's a negotiation.
Before we finish our new business, we will go back to Jane's reports.
Okay, thank you. Conservation Advisory Council, I wanted to have this report because this has been going on for 2 years. And the committee has been super, Donovan, Kathleen, Bernie, they've done a fabulous job, and the documents are in draft form, completed in draft form. And they will be reviewed by the public. The public will have opportunity to give comments on that. And then it goes to the UDC, the National Park Service, and then to the town board for adoption. And I think we should all be proud of our new plans that we have. So that's that. The grants report. All right, I'll tell you what happened across the street. They're claiming that they have this is for the UDC, Upper Delaware Council. They said they have very little money this year to share with grantees. But the upshot, they had 4 applicants. And the upshot is that I'm thinking, although you don't get a yes or no now, but I'm thinking that they will not, so we put in for 2 things, water remediation of the records room and the zoning update. And I'm thinking that you're right, that they're saying that it's probably a bricks and mortar issue to do the water remediation, so I doubt that they will fund that, but they didn't say it outright yet, but they certainly.
Maybe we should have a study on the water remediation.
They'll find us a study, but they won't do bricks and mortar.
That's right, that's right. That's right. Anyway, I did reference it to the river management plan, but that's what you have to do, but whatever. The other was for the grant, for zoning, updates, and so they listened to that. So that was that. Oh, so I'm under grants. The National Fish and Wildlife Grant, I just said that it's complete. If the invoices are being submitted and the public hearing will be scheduled. On Delaware Engineering, they're working on 2 USDA grants. But I think Kevin gave that report. The UDC, I did submit on time to the final report to the UDC. And Sullivan 180, right before this meeting, I met with some representatives from the Parks Committee. And we're working to complete, we're work on Kirk Road. And the planters are outside Town Hall, if anybody noticed, but there are flowers in the planters out there. And the Narrowsburg Beautification Group was part of the grant to work their former projects, and they've done a very fine job as always on that. Okay.
Thank you. Going back into new business before I go back into another report is, apparently Jim is not resigning from his position. He's just working less hours, and the hours that he would normally work will be picked up by Ms. Hay. So I will make a motion to rescind the resignation of Jim Agar. You can discuss it.
Oh, it's, okay, the board one.
You're amending that resolution.
Yes, I got that.
The only amending.
Is you on?
I'm here.
You're on. Ellie.
Hi. Sorry, I missed you before. Not much to report for Tustin Youth, except we are working on our Halloween program. Last year we were able to have our haunted house at Fort Delaware, but they were unable to host us this year. So we were hoping to seek permission from the town board to utilize the downstairs area of our town hall to turn into our program, our haunted house, on Friday and Saturday evenings, October 17th and 18th of this year. We will still have the trick or treat. We are just pending and finalizing still the location for that. We've reached out to the chamber and we just want to talk to them a little bit more before we make that announcement. But that will be Saturday the 18th. So Saturday will be a longer day of activities, and then Friday night, just the haunted house. We have cleared it with Justice Court. There will not be court that Thursday, so it won't get in the way of anything already scheduled or happening down there.
Board questions for Kelly? Use of the town hall? Questions? Report is on?
The only big dead bodies.
You could turn Dean Empire off, we'll start speaking in there again. Okay, I don't think we need a resolution for that, just permission. Seems like the.
All right.
business.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other new business that we have missed?
Can I just ask what the JCAP award was for?
If I got Jocelyn on here, she would tell you, but I do not have her on here now. She was on before.
Sounded like, supplies,
Yeah.
office, furniture.
I think these chairs aren't, no.
No, these came from a different one, but she did upgrade some.
Alright, I just wondered what.
All right, here we go. Let's go into our public comment. We will start first on the floor and then we will open up to the Zoom on the floor. Okay.
Hi, I'm Stephen Stewart. I live on Grassy Swamp Road and I'm a volunteer firefighter with New York Fire Department. First of all, congratulations on Craig's appointment. I've known him for a while and he's really a person. I have a request for the board. A property owner approached the fire department to make a 911 address sign for their vacant property in town. They do intend to build at some point. Right now, they recreate on it. They ride their ATVs, they do some wood cutting, they get out there and hike. And they want a 911 address in the event they have a problem. Emergency services will know where to find them. The issue is 911 addressing is done by the Sullivan County Real Property Division. I spoke with Christopher Knapp about it, and he said their policy is not to issue 911 addresses to vacant properties. And I said, why? We went to this, long song and dance about multiple towns have done that, and then they find that people are building without permits, and well, it's not an addressing problem, it's a code enforcement problem. So I said, I think it's really important that Tustin residents who own property or want to come up and recreate have a way to identify where they are in the event they need emergency services. He said, okay, well, what we can do is that your town board writes us a letter of authorization saying that the town authorizes the Real Property Division to issue a 911 address to a vacant property. They will go ahead and do that. So I'm asking the town board to write that authorization so that our residents and property owners can be protected, whether they have a building on their property or not. And probably at some point, I would like to see that extended to, our Tuscan Mountain Trail. Get a couple of identifying spots on the trail. We get frequent calls there to, service, people that become sick or injured or lost. And if we ever get depending on what happens with the, Boy Scout property trail, we might want to get some trailhead markers and things like that as well. So, any questions?
Hey, do you see an issue with that from a assessor point with the real property?
I don't know. It could be an issue.
It's not changing the use of the property, it's just allowing for an address. And there are parameters to get the address, you have to have a driveway into your property. And that's what they determine where the address is. Personally, I think it is a life safety issue. I spoke about it, in the fire department and our.
So with that, they would need, if I've got a vacant piece of property, no driveway on it at this point in time, or I'm just driving over the ditch and stuff. They would be required to have at least a driveway permit through the highway department. of
Absolutely.
Whatever vacant property they're on, and whether it's county road or a county road, state highway, but that would give them enough at least to get the sign up.
And that would also need to be placed on a survey map.
Right.
So that
And it
it's
would
a
delineate.
legitimate measurement of where the driveway is. 'Cause
So there's still a process that the landowner is going to have to go through when they did it, but
Yes,
at least.
Yeah. and for the town, our town properties, it would be the code enforcement officer that issues that driveway permit.
Right.
So, that would be a heads up to you what's happening.
Do you know who pays for any costs associated with changing of maps and things like that, or is that absorbed by
Property owner.
The property owner.
property owners?
Right, it's their survey of their property indicating where their driveway entrance to their
No,
property.
it
is.
seems very logical to me, but that's why I asked.
Right, no,
Yeah,
I-
I fear that
that's-
might
that's-
not be
yeah,
logical.
thank you. Any other? No? Okay, thank you.
Oh, okay, you'll go next, Russell.
Sorry.
No,
Okay. All right, hi, I'm Alex Spott from 396 Irish Town Road. I've been here before, so you might recognize my face. Thank you for listening and hopefully addressing some of my concerns. As you know, there have been some serious things going on with my neighbor, which I came here about prior. And things have improved, but I come here because my problems have not yet been resolved. I was able to make contact with the sheriff's department and a number of steps were taken, that for the time being have temporarily solved the one issue of very loud and disruptive barking of dogs 24/7. My neighbor, Mr. Gavin, had been arrested and he's been charged with aggravated animal cruelty. But I am still concerned with what happens next because there are many issues that still remain, including an illegal kennel issue. On August 6th, I was told that by the end of August, code violations should be written for my neighbor. And there are many violations, but these are just the ones I'm most concerned about. So still the running of an illegal kennel. At least 2 RVs that I can see on the property, one with a running generator. And then as well as construction equipment on the property, and then the uncleanliness and nuisance of debris on the property, which includes but not limited to a foul smell of animal feces. So I just wanted to come today to ask if any of these codes have been ticketed as of today, and if not, is there a time and place that we can chat further on how to get this taken care of?
To my knowledge, none of them have been ticketed.
Okay.
The building department has, been extremely busy with a couple of things that required time sensitive. They have not been forgotten.
Okay.
And I know you left a message for me, which I did not return to you, and I apologize for that, but
Okay, I'm here.
my cell phone is always better
Okay,
than going through the town. That's why I listed. We could sit and talk further about it, and I can give you some updates about things that instead of taking the public's time right now, anytime, I'll be around all week.
Okay.
I'll be around, I'll be in the office tomorrow too, so
Okay, cool. I will give you a call. Thank you.
you're welcome. Russell.
Thank you, Ben. Hi, everybody.
Hello again.
Hello again. You again. I think there's some developments on 93 Main. I'm gonna point to Ken and ask if,
Yeah, this was, been so this month has been a little bit busy and I hope to get through it, but I just wasn't able to. Probably some other
We've
unexpected.
been inundated with Article 78 and a couple of time-sensitive court appearances on
okay, so
emergency.
rather than take up, because I appreciate all of your time and you don't want to keep hearing me on about this. Is there a way forward on this? I don't know how big
Well, I
the
think
document is you need to.
the way forward is
review.
simple. I'm gonna review a couple of documents. And then we'll come back and assuming that the new folks are willing to sign the form of the new guarantee. Then the board will probably authorize the acceptance of the new guarantee and the release of the existing, of the two new of the existing.
I mean, which is everything you've said before, so I
Right.
appreciate that, and we're all very busy, Ken, so I'm deeply appreciative of that, and I understand that, and I'm not trying to put extra pressure on the board, because I know you have a heavy lift on everything that you do, but this has now been 15 months since we left the brewery, and this is now an ongoing monthly discussion where it is clearly becoming a little bit of a amusing moment where I'm here asking again, so I just don't want to keep coming up and asking the same question, because the workload isn't going to decrease, everything is going
I
to.
guess the only answer I give you is wait for it to happen, because it doesn't have to happen at all.
But the board has very graciously and appropriately,
And they're going to do it, so my response is. be
board has
patient and let it happen.
graciously and appropriately, and I've been more than reasonable in listening and coming and attentively
I
asking.
think what Ken's trying to say is that, and I mean this very respectfully, it's not a board problem, but we are trying to resolve your problem.
Absolutely.
So don't make it a
Absolutely.
board
I
problem.
appreciate it's not the board's problem, but as the landlord, and it's been something that the board has agreed to, I appreciate that you've put the time and the effort into that, and as part of the
We want to
duties
get it
as the
taken care of,
landlord.
and you want to get it taken care of.
Absolutely, because it is putting a lot of stress onto us as a family. And that's something that may not come across, because I try not to make that an issue, but it is something please to consider. So I really would appreciate that if we could get that. And I know, and I've tried not to make this an issue at the meeting, and our lawyer has been trying to communicate with you, Ken, to get this sorted out in advance of these meetings. So if the board could put some weight behind that, that would be
We
much
do.
appreciated.
But please do understand that when we get certain things that come in like this month, we only have X number of days to get something resolved.
I appreciate that. I do appreciate it.
It really, it makes it look like we're not doing anything for
No, no.
people, just like, you know, she's got an issue down there. There's some things that I'll explain to her that came up that prevented us from actually being able to do something.
Yeah.
We do try, and it's, you know.
Let me just speak to that, Ben, because very importantly, I will just say, and for the benefit of the board, you are an effective and efficient, active board. You do stuff that I think a lot of us appreciate, but don't always stay in real terms, and you do. And I know that I'm grateful for that as a resident of Narrowsburg, and I'm sure that a lot of people here appreciate that as well. So I don't want this to be a reflection on your hard work and your commitment to what you do for the town, because what you do is amazing. So I will just say that, and I mean that from the heart. But this has to get resolved now, because we said it, we would. So I thank you for driving that forward. Thanks, Ben.
You got it. Yes, Star.
Just, just testing it because I couldn't hear some of the things that were being said. My comment tonight is dealing with, two issues that have been on the back burner for quite a long time. I'm also submitting these comments as correspondence to have them attached to the minutes of the meeting when it gets put out. My first question is, again, the agendas. The timeliness of the agendas and the information and just listing of what is going to be done at these various meetings. You cannot walk through the door and be handed a paper and have made any kind of preparation about any of the issues that are before the board. So I would again respectfully ask that
the agendas, be posted at least 3 days before the projected meeting, and that the substance of the agendas be vastly upgraded. Every time I've come in here, even picking up the agenda from the table over here, it's practically an unrecognizable document. Tonight, you had a whole section switched from 4 to 5. And additional things I can understand can come up at the last minute, but if you have a skeleton outline, and then you have a much more filled out outline handed to the board members, I think there's a discrepancy here that needs to be addressed. The other thing I wanted to say was, there was a comment, I think, Kevin was talking about the water committee and the water and wastewater in the town. I'm going to bring up again the issue of the plastic pollution that is basically rampant throughout the county and in the whole world, as a matter of fact. I brought up a very educational DVD that was made by Mark Ruffalo regarding the DuPont pollution in West Virginia. And that is a microcosm of what is going on in the entire world. These plastic pieces are everywhere and they don't go away. You can't burn them, you can't bury them, they're there and they're going to stay there. Our legislators, in their infinite wisdom, are looking at a trash incinerator to take over from the rapidly fading Seneca Meadows. And trash incinerators are one of the super producers, polluters of this plastic waste. They found that babies in utero, after they're born, have absorbed these plastic particles, and the plastic has chemicals. They have linked it directly to all kinds of cancers. So you're not dealing with something here that can just, well, get a spray and it will go away. This has got to become a better issue that people really pay attention to. I have here a handout of a very, very educational book. It's called They Poison the World. This is a life and death in the era of forever chemicals. This woman, the author, Mariah Blake, is an investigative reporter. She has compiled an exhaustive documentation of going back to World War I, when the real plastic and poison gas articles were spread and got all over the place. So this is something that everyone should read, and I've got a number of handouts like this. As soon as I get my technological act together, I will try to put it out in an email with an attachment that you can just click a link and go to it. But this book, I promise you, it will change the way you think about the way the world is going. And if you have children or grandchildren or other loved ones that you want to try to protect, you better start thinking about it now, because it's already out there and it's only going to get worse. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else from the floor? Yes, Jeffrey.
Thank you for the opportunity. And just a couple of handouts. It's basically a copy of what I'm gonna say. And some pictures of the situation you've been talking about. I want to update, revisit the community concern we brought up at a previous town board meeting. mainly the need for town control of commercial enterprises operating and in and around our residential areas. The concern is the use of dumpsters in size and number to hold the totality of household waste generated, as well as storing claims from local animal rating. In this case, the site plan approval, after many months of wrangling with community concerns, included a secure location for household waste. But without community notification or consent, a certificate of occupancy was granted with many of the requirements agreed to in the site plan, dismissed or out of compliance. We would also ask the town control address the responsibility of these commercial enterprises in remediating waste spread to other properties by animal raiding. And when an update, we submit several new pictures of new layers of household waste spread over neglected piles of waste from prior waves of bear raids. Further, there was a young man handcuffed and taken away by police for carrying a sword, which he justified because of fear of the bears. There was also a visit by a DEC officer who evaluated the site next door to us. He said a warning and recommendation would be made to the owner. The warning cited incidental feeding of bears with a recommendation for bear proofing. The bulk of the garbage in the immediate area of the dumpster has since been removed. There is still residue and garbage dragged through the woods, even to the edge of County Route 25, which has not been touched. This is also our property. Wanda, my wife, was approached and harassed when checking if any cleanup had occurred. You will also see amongst the photos a sign that was posted on our property by our neighbors. The message, obviously aggressive and meant to intimidate, implies disrespect for community and other people's property, as well as an uncooperative attitude. In conclusion, we're wondering if there are any plans or progress in addressing the issue, as the problem and the threat seems to be escalated. Thank you.
What did the DEC officer tell you that he was going to do as far as an enforcement action on the feeding of the bears? Was he going to tell them that they needed to have a compacting dumpster or?
Well, we spoke to him after he had looked over the site, and he said, frankly, that there wasn't much that they could do except issue a warning first. And I don't know how long they give them before they start messing with them. And there was also the issue of the bears. He said, he gave me actually a number of, I guess it's some agency that has biological control in this area. And he said that if it gets to a certain point, that they're going to send somebody down to try to. But there's actually more than one bear. I can't really tell. I don't know them by name. There's a bunch of them running through there now.
Yeah, well, once
So, thank you.
they've been attracted to something,
Yeah,
they're not gonna go away.
They'll put that on, become the circuit, and they just keep coming back and back and back.
And this dumpster doesn't look like would be effective against a bear anyway. It looks like a plastic lid,
It is a plastic
which
lid.
is ridiculous.
Which I.
And
did
Thompson
bring
should
up.
never put it there. We should
Well, I
call
actually,
Thompson,
when I
tell
was
them,
talking to the DEC guy, I mentioned that, I said, it's incredible to me that they're trying to keep a bear out of a big bucket of goodies with plastic top on it.
yeah,
I said, whatever happened to, I mean, I've seen a million dumpsters in my lifetime, most of them had steel tops.
Yeah.
That you could just put a clip on and that was that.
Yeah.
Apparently that seems to have disappeared for some reason, it's a chicken's tooth now. And now it's all these little plastic things, and you know, I walk down there, I see garbage all over the place, and the bear just jumps up on top of the thing and folds the whole business in. and
Yeah.
scoops them down.
Probably the same bear that goes to the town of Tustin's highway department. They end up having to use a backhoe, putting the backhoe over the top of it to hold it down. And that doesn't necessarily work sometimes. Depending on how big the bear is. Yeah, they've had to get inside it with the backhoe on top of it, so.
Down by, what is it, County Route 23, I've seen a bear down there that was the size of a Volkswagen, I don't know. So then, what do you suggest? You called it total worthless. We talked with Clark Kelly about moving the dumpster off the road and onto his property, onto the owner's property.
I mean, the only thing that's gonna get you relief, to be honest with you, is a compacting dumpster. Can the town make them do that? Probably not. Can the DEC make them do that? Possibly, if they cite them for feeding bears or, you know, don't take a. But I've been out of that enforcement for over 20 years, so I don't know what the laws are, to be honest.
But can we get the dumpster onto his property and not the road?
Is that part of, that's a right of way. The road's a right of way. That's his property with a right of way that goes through it.
Yes, Clark Kelly owns, pays the taxes
Yeah.
on it, so he has asked for the owner to be, you know, get it onto the side. Fire trucks can't just get down there.
That would be a start, yes.
Just go to Thompson and say to Thompson, first of all,
It's not Thompson's responsibility.
well,
And he said,
it may
yes,
not
he
be
would,
the
but then-
responsibility, but if the town calls them and says,
I don't know that we've got a legal
lid
right
on
to
that
tell them
thing.
to put a lid on it. Because like I say, the one that we've got up at the highway department, we put a backhoe over top of it and they still get in it. You know, they really need an enclosed dumpster. It doesn't sound like you've got neighbors that are willing to do it.
Original site plan, they had like a tornado fence and said they were gonna put it on, you know, they're gonna, it was gonna be secure. But, I mean, I've seen that in other places, commercial places very often, but tornado fence around, the garbage areas. And that was originally in the site plan, but that was dismissed.
Let me see if I can find something that'll give you some sort of, I can't promise it. It sounds like a quagmire, but we can at least try. I mean, sure. I was gonna try to get somebody else beforehand, but then-
To this issue specifically because it's not just down by lower 25 there that the bears are going. People that live in the trailer park in that back road that goes down like, I don't know, 29, they are reporting bears going through there.
Yeah, there's bears everywhere. I mean,
They're dangerous. They're dangerous. If you
of course they are. Of course
that's
they
why
are.
we don't put our bird feeders out.
That's why if you live out where we live, we don't put garbage cans out at all. We don't even put garbage cans in our trucks. Because they'll rip the backs of trucks. Barton, would you put a garbage can out inside of your house?
I have a bear-proof garbage can.
There?
You do?
Well, never mind that. Is there other people for public comment? I'm sorry.
Kelly at the apartments that Star was referencing, he has actually whole fence and uses garbage. He cleans it up every night. There's a problem.
Yeah, it requires more than just leaving your dumpster outside. It requires proactive on the part of the property owner.
Appreciate it.
Other public comments?
You have something to
Okay.
add? Martin Higgins, I also live on Irish Town Road, a couple miles down from Alex, and just adding to what she's talking about, this has just been an ongoing issue. I've lived there for 20 years. It's been a problem for 20 years, but it's really just gotten a lot worse. The thing that Alex didn't mention that is a continuing concern for me is that this resident has two minor children that live with him that are homeschooled. And I'm concerned in a house that we've learned has no running water. The electricity is coming from a generator, that's not really great living conditions for minor children. And Child Protective Services has been called, they come out, similar experience to what you and Jim had when you went to visit. The kids talk to you through a broken window and say their father isn't there, whether he is or he isn't, I couldn't say. But I think that's always the answer, whether he's home or not. So that's the thing that I would love to see this issue escalated, and I do appreciate and understand that there is limited capacity and time for things, but.
My understanding was that the children were removed from the residence.
I don't know that to be true. I would love to have confirmation of that, but I
Got that
can't get
from
a word from
the
Chuck.
county
Veteran
control
Services.
officer. The county, dog control officer.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But,
Good to know.
but
Well, they could be.
sometimes it's a temporary.
Right.
You know, they complies. You know,
Anyway, just adding.
there was a child there when we seized the dogs.
Did I have another? Yes.
Hi, Fabiana Lotito. I wanna ask a question about Star's PFAS comments. Before she walked in last month, you guys said that we were getting it, the town testing the water can you just?
In the last, I think, Water Committee and I think Craig's report, Department of Health did some testing earlier this summer, and that they said they would be doing PFAS testing
Right.
in the fall.
So that's great.
Right.
And then will that report be?
I'm sure we'll be informed of what they find.
It's becoming a requirement for each of the water districts to do this. The
Right.
state is picking up the first one, probably because they want to benchmark.
Right, okay, well, that's great news. So
Right.
then we'll have some.
We will
understanding.
have a
Yeah.
test done.
Yeah.
Not on our dime,
That's great.
and it is a huge.
Right.
There was an article in the New York Times about PFAS that said it's gonna make, oh God, my brain.
That's good, there's PFAS in it.
No, it's gonna make, what was the insulation we asked, asbestos? It's gonna make asbestos look like a lemonade
Yeah.
stand. PFAS is gonna be a huge legal quagmire,
Well, it's
And a
great that it's
chemical.
gonna be tested.
but it's going to be.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a comment. Can I
Sure.
Hi, my name is Barbara Arundel. I have, storefront on Main Street and my office, for Damascus Citizens for Sustainability, also in Narrowsburg. I have two items, be really quick. One, I spoke to, Johnson about, which is, proactively, zoning in reference to data centers. And I have some information that I think was distributed. And he informed me that your zoning only allows what's itemized, anything else is not allowed. So that's good, but I would check your definitions and make sure that data centers, including cryptocurrency mining and all these other ways they call these huge polluting buildings, that yes, there's jobs when they're built, but they don't even have the lights on when they're operating. So there's really no humans inside. So that's one thing. So I would really check your zoning to make sure that the town is protected. And then the other thing is, what Star had mentioned about, proposed waste to energy, incinerator, for Sullivan County. It's proposed now, I mean, the legislature was very, cagey about not saying where, but now it's the old secondary landfill that's partly in village of Monticello and town of Thompson. Air pollution knows no boundaries. And the town, as part of Sullivan County, should raise their hand and say, hey, there's better things to do than an incinerator. The pollution from these facilities, people are told, don't eat produce from your garden, don't eat eggs from backyard chickens. It's dioxin, heavy metals, all kinds of things. And also there's smells, of course. And they're set up with
quit or pay contracts, meaning if they don't get enough garbage from the actual municipality, that they're free to import garbage to burn it. So Sullivan County could become a hub for trash, which will not be good for your second home sector, which is 1/4 of the Sullivan County's economy, and also the farming sector, which is another 1/4 of the county's economy. And certainly town of Tustin, big on recreation and second homes and smells and sounds and trucking and pollution move without regard to political boundaries. So if the town could raise their hand and say, there's better things to do than an incinerator, first of all, to reduce volume and do more recycling of all different sorts, and be aware of the dangers if there is an incinerator actually in. And the municipalities in Sullivan County have to raise their hands and say, we have a say. We're responsible for the health and welfare of the people in our municipality, and that does not reflect well from an incinerator.
Thank you, Barbara. Any more from the floor? From Zoom? Charles, see?
Hi there, I'm Charles Wilkin, and I live at 491 Irish Town Road. Two things. I just want to follow up on a letter that I submitted twice, once on June 10th and again on August 5th. Also, just outlining all the concerns that we have with 405 Irish Town Road. I realize the dog issue has been relatively mitigated, but there are other issues there. Excessive trash. There are definitely construction violations there. It's definitely an unsafe home to live in. He has multiple campers, which someone is definitely living in. He repeatedly parks his cars and construction equipment on the road, which blocks the road at a pinch point because the road is very narrow there and it's hard to get around. So I'm just feeling like between getting no response from the letters that I've sent, and just looking at the board, just how slow you move on these issues, I'm just feeling like this isn't going to get resolved. So I would just hope that you would listen to all of the neighbors on the street and try and resolve these complaints that we have in a timely manner, because as Martin has said, it's just getting worse and worse. And I think now that, he's in trouble with the dogs, I don't think anything is really going to get resolved there without, some intervention from the town or somebody else. He's also illegally dumping trash on a neighbor's property, and he built a driveway there. I mean, doesn't a driveway not require a permit? I really don't understand why the town is not taking this seriously or, showing any action. I mean, it's really annoying. So I hope that you will listen to our complaints and try and move things along faster, because it's getting really not good. So thank you for listening. I'm very grateful for what was done with the dogs, because that was obviously a horrible situation that none of us knew was so bad. So I hope that you will continue to try and fix the issues that exist with this property. So thank you.
And Charles, you're more than welcome with Alex if we get together to come with her, like throw some ideas that we've gotten by you, at least to bring you up to speed a little bit.
Okay, great. I appreciate that.
Anybody else online? What's that?
No, not Lindsay.
Is there any comment from the board?
Yeah, I didn't want the meeting to end without saying the highway department's done a pretty terrific job paving the municipal lot on Main Street. I mean, in 2 days, they've got it. Looks great. It looks great. They've done a good job and quickly and on a timely basis.
I walked through it tonight, and it looks, they've got some extra spots in there. I did not email you. You asked me a question regarding the parking lot and the striping of it. I was in touch with the county today, and they said that they will get it done before they close for the winter.
Oh, good. Otherwise,
He's gonna
Indy
call,
5.
he's gonna call Don tomorrow, and as a point of reference, Main Street is going to be restriped. They're gonna do it one morning, probably about 7 or 7:30, 8 o'clock. Everyone is encouraged not to drive over the line.
How many spaces do you think we added by that? Haven't
He's, yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
He's we could do it a little bit different to the parking lot as far as making some smaller spots for smaller cars, so.
Right.
And when the truck comes to do the paving or the striping, just so you know, because of the size of it, it needs to back from the bridge all the way down to the feed mill. It can't make it underneath the underpass, so it starts there and comes up. So there's a possibility that for a half an hour, one day, it will be hard to get through.
I'll be stuck.
Could be.
Will we know that date in advance?
I asked him to try to give me an idea. It's kind of like paving. We're gonna shoot for this day.
Yeah.
But isn't that the time people go to work?
Good. Time people go to get their coffee in the morning.
I-
Or go to the GI.
Oh, I know. Just thinking, I have to go to work.
I will put a recommendation in. I mean, that's a valid point. I can tell.
Anyway, I always know that, this lot, let your customers know that this lot is often empty when that lot is jammed.
Yeah, I've been using this lot a lot.
And
Any other board comments?
Just a reminder about the planting dates for the daffodils, October 4th and 5th and 11th. All ages are welcome. Yes, Kristen? Oh, and then just to reiterate what Jane said, I think the planters out in front of Town Hall look wonderful, but really a nice color, very rich, and they look more modern than the former look, and it's cleaned up nicely. So thank you to everyone who's involved with them.
Good question. Then, forward. Do you want me to send in a fall flyer? I didn't even think about that. Did you do a spring one and a fall one? If I send out a fall one, you can send it out like.
this is the townwide dump lot.
For the cleanup
You
day,
just put the donkey on the left side and then.
the daffodils and the logging days and
We can put on the other side,
whatever else.
whatever else it.
I'll send you the information. I put together a flyer.
Okay.
If there's no other business before the board, a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, folks. Very large turnout.